Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my craft room. I haven't shared much in a while. It's been pretty busy. Holidays have creeped up on me, and before I knew it, I realized I hadn't done a lot of holiday crafting yet. So, as I give usually paper crafted products with some goodies in it to my coworkers each holiday, I knew I needed to get going and get something made. So, this is what I have come up with. It's round kind of hat box. This will be a treat holder. I am going to fill this with some shred and some candy and maybe a gift card or something like that for my coworkers. And I wanted to show you how to make this today. So it's not too hard to make. It's fairly simple, but I am going to walk you through it. So basically what you're going to need for supplies is you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock, 1 piece of double-sided pattern paper. You're going to need your trimmer, and you're also going to need a scoring blade, and you're going to need a circle cutter. Now, I did my circles with an old circle cutter I have, but you could easily create this on a Cricut. So what you're going to do is you're going to need to cut 2 circles of each size. We have a 5-inch and a 5 1/4 inch circle, cut 2. Then you're going to need strips. You're going to need 2 strips that are 2.5 inches wide, one at 12 inches, one at 6, and then two strips that are 1.5 inches wide, one tall, I should say. One that's 1.5, the other one at 1.5 by 6. So you're going to need these from your cardstock. Let's put these aside. Then from your pattern paper, this is what I cut. I cut 1 circle that is a 5-inch circle. I cut 2 strips that are 1 3/4 inches tall. Again, 12 inches and 6 inches. And then I did an additional 2 strips that are 3/4 of an inch tall. Again, 12 inches and 6 inches. These are going to be what we're going to use to decorate the top and the sides of our box. Now, the first thing you're going to need to do on all 4 of your strips is I'm going to just put my scoring blade in, and I do this on the back side of the paper just from a folding standpoint. So I'm going to score at 1/2 an inch. This is going to be on all 4 strips are going to get scored on the long side at 1/2 inch. Turn that down. Put that aside. I'm going to fold this over. And this is probably the more intensive part of it, because once you put it together, it's going to be fairly simple. What we're going to do is I'm using my scissors, and I'm going to create little tabs along the 1/2 inch up to the score line by cutting notches. So basically, I'm going to cut, and I'm going to make a mess here, but that's okay. So I'm just cutting V's from the edge to the score line, and some of these will pop out, some won't, depends on how close I get. But this is what we're going to do, this on all 4 of our strips from the cardstock. And once we've done that, we can start to assemble, so that's why this is a fairly easy project to do. Not a super lot of folding, but I'm just going to take out my little cut pieces, put them off to the side so I don't have a messy work area. So basically, for each strip, what you'll end up with is something that looks like this. So we're cutting with the V's that we cut in, we're creating tabs with the notches. So what we're going to do, so I've got my 2.5 and my 2 that are at 1.5. Now, this is where I have messed up a few times, and I will admit this. You want to make sure that you don't confuse your circles, because your top circle is going to be always your larger circle. That goes with your 1.5 inch strips. Your bottom circles are always your smaller, because I have made a few as I was working through this formula, and I have done this. So I just make sure that I measure them and put them aside. So let me just before I do anything else. Put that aside. So what I do on this is going to be the same for the top and the bottom, is on the back side of the paper. So this is where, and I don't do anything on this one. This is where I'm putting like a score tape, a strong adhesive. On one of the circles, I'm going to put it around the edge, and the other circle, just a few strips across the the back side of it. And then on the larger strip, I just put one on each end. And I'll walk you through this. So it's assembling it. I'll just take my backing off my adhesive. I like to work kind of away from myself. This I find helps me line it up. And this is where just being careful. So you're going to start lining up your tabs, and the tab having those notches makes this fold in very easily. So you're just lining up your score line with the edge of your circle and just adhering. And the notches will make the tabs just kind of fold in to each other. And I'll just take this around, and it does, like I said, it does come together once you've I found cutting the notches was just the most tedious part. So I know my last piece there. So this is how you can see it so far, and this is what it looks like. So now I'm going to take this sticky tape off the back of here, and then I'm going to tuck in, do this away from myself, tuck this piece in so that it adheres to the sticky tape. And then I do the same thing with the notches for this piece. And this will just kind of close my circle, because unfortunately, you know, with doing this as a 5-inch circle, I needed to use the 2 strips. You can scale this up or down, and really, and if you want to do some math, you need to make sure that your paper you have for your band is equal to the circumference of a circle. Math, basically pi r squared. So if you want to do it, you can do it on a calculator, figure out exactly how much you need. This is my math background for those that know me. So it just lets you know how much paper you'll need. You can definitely, this is something you can scale up and down, whatever size you find you want to work with for your box. So, well, your circle box. So now I've got my circle. And the reason why I have this second piece is this is going to be kind of cover on the inside all of those little tabs. Also adds some additional stability to the inside. So I just kind of tuck this in, push it down, and there's my box base. I'll set this aside, and I'm going to repeat the process with my lid. Again, I've already put my adhesive on, same areas. Again, I'm going to work with, this is the bottom piece and my longer strip, and I work away from myself. Just got to get myself oriented here. Again, it's the same thing. We're going to start adhering the tabs all the way through. And like I said, the notches really make it fold into that kind of circle nicely. But yeah, I wanted to make this about this size. It seemed to work well for what I want, since I'm going to be putting candy in it for my coworkers and some shred. And you could definitely make it smaller, maybe put a gift card in it. You could put, what else? You could even make it for like jewelry, for like a ring or something like that for somebody. So let's just do this again. So I'm going to adhere this on the back. Close this one. Yeah, because again, once you get past a certain size, you're going to need to do more than one strip for your bands. So I haven't completely calculated out what size you need 2 strips. So, and then again, my second piece is going to be my inside. Give it a little bit of extra security. Drop this in. There we go. There is my box right there. So now I am going to decorate my box. So I'm going to take my circle And my strips that I've done, and I already put some adhesive on the back of these. I like using a strong adhesive when I am doing a paper crafting project, just from my own standpoint. Put that on there, flip it over, just kind of rub that on. And then what I do when I put the bands on is I always start with the smallest piece and work my way around. And the only time I have to be super careful and go slow is because the bands definitely can start to kind of switch, move over a little bit. And I really am trying to get this centered. And I always start on that back side where I had that insert piece, just to kind of cover up its edges. And put this on, overlap this slightly, just work my way slowly around. And finish. My top is done. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my bands that are going around the bottom. And you can really decorate this however you want. I just find I do layers of paper along with my cardstock just for the stability standpoint. Yep, I see that one's starting to move to the side, so I'm just going to, before it gets too, try to make sure it stays straight and centered. Last piece. And there. Nice and slow. And, you know, I mean, you probably could, if you wanted to, put this on the strip before you put it on the box, but I just do it usually after because of overlapping the end pieces. There we go. And now I have my completed box. And what I did with this is I just did some stamped pieces. I cut out a little tag from some paper, went into my stash. Don't mind the backside, that was a misstamp. And I've got that. And add my pieces. Tuck these under. And then I used some stickles on the other one. I'm not going to go through that right now, to just give a little bit of bling to the center of my poinsettias. And there we have it. This is how you make this fun Christmas box treat holder, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you make them, I would love it if you could share them with me, because I always love to see different variations on the paper crafting projects I come up with. I will be posting all of the information on this along with a PDF of directions on my blog. You'll see it in the blog post with a link to the PDF. And I hope you enjoy it. Have a lot of fun with this. And I wish everybody a very happy holiday season. Thank you. Bye now.